arrest. I want to bring in Mike Davis of the Article 3 Project, who's in New York for the trial. Mike, what is your reaction to this report that if President Trump misses a day in court, the sitting judge, who has a lot of apparent conflicts of interest, says there will be an arrest?
Well, it's just more evidence. It's more evidence that this is Democrat lawfare and election interference when you have this George Soros-funded Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, working with former senior Biden Justice Department political appointee Matthew Colangelo to bring this unprecedented criminal trial against a former president who happens to be the leading presidential candidate based upon a bogus legal theory passed over by the prior Manhattan DA, the Manhattan U.S. Attorney, the Federal Election Commission, and Bragg himself until Colangelo got deployed to Bragg's office. You have this Democrat Manhattan judge, Juan Merchan, who donated to Biden in 2020, along with another anti-Trump group. His adult daughter, Lauren Merchan, is a leading Democrat consultant and fundraiser who has raised nearly $100 million from her father's trial, unprecedented trial of President Trump. She has Judge Merchan, through his adult daughter, has a conflict of interest under New York law where he is required to recuse, but he's refused instead. When he got this evidence from Trump, he punished Trump. He retaliated by putting an unconstitutional gag order on President Trump, illegal gag order, which is unheard of, to put a gag order, a vague and overbroad gag order on a criminal defendant. If anyone must have the constitutional right to speak out against the judge, the prosecutor, the staff, the process, the witnesses, it is a criminal defendant. So it does not surprise me at all that Judge Juan Merchan, this Democrat operative in a robe, wants to jail President Trump during the presidential election.
Mike, you brought up a good point, the unconstitutional gag order that's been put on President Trump. Aren't gag orders typically used to protect criminal defendants' rights throughout trials, not vice versa?
That's exactly right. The gag order is a very limited measure that courts use to protect criminal defendants and their constitutional right to a fair, public, and speedy trial as they go through the process. And it is just unheard of for a judge to put a gag order on a criminal defendant. This really started when these Democrat judges did this to Trump supporter Roger Stone, and it turns the Constitution on its head from a shield that protects us from the government to a sword the government uses to come after us. This is truly un-American to gag a criminal defendant who must have the First, Sixth, and 14th Amendment rights to speak out about the unfair, politicized, and weaponized process. And this is particularly true for a criminal defendant who happens to be a leading presidential candidate in the election that's coming up this year.
Mike, I've asked everyone who I've spoken to this day, but I want to ask you as well, what precedent are these New York prosecutors setting by really going after President Trump on a charge that the DOJ, the FEC, and Bragg's former predecessor, Cy Vance, they all declined to prosecute? What type of precedent are they setting, resurrecting this Frankenstein case, bringing it forward?
Yeah, and Bragg himself declined to bring this case until Colangelo got sent from the Biden Justice Department. Look, if they can do this to a billionaire former and likely future president of the United States, just imagine what they can do to the rest of us. President Trump is simply in their way.
You're 100% right, Mike Davis of the Article 3 Project. We appreciate you joining and breaking it all down from New York, from the scene of where everything is happening today. We appreciate you joining us, Mike. Thank you so much.
Thank you.